our objective for today, I can solve and graph quadratic equations using the quadratic formula. Let's read it together. 1, 2, 3. I can solve and graph quadratic equations using the quadratic formula. So today, we're going to approach solving quadratic equations in a different way. We've already been solving them with factoring, using our, the parentheses, getting our power ranger going, and factoring out the GCF, and so on and so forth. Today's approach is QF, or quadratic formula. We don't need the Fermat model. We know what quadratic equations are. I gave you guys definitions, examples, non-examples, and critical attributes for that. Copy these steps down, please. There's 6 steps. Step 1, set the quadratic equation in standard form. Set the quadratic equation in standard form. And if you want, skip one line after step 1, so like that we can write the standard form so you can refresh in your memory. We already know it. I just want to make sure that you remember it. Set the quadratic equation in standard form. Step 2, identify A, B, and C. Identify A, B, and C. Identify A, B, and C. Step 3, write the quadratic formula and substitute. Write the quadratic formula and substitute. Write the quadratic formula and substitute. And the last 3 steps is what we've been doing so far. Solve, graph, and check. Solve, graph, and check. Solve, graph, and check. Yes. Solve, graph, and check. So words to circle so that you can memorize or remember those steps. Step number 1, set, circle that, and underline in standard form. In standard form. Underneath that, where I told you to skip a line, if you want to write it in red also, here's the standard form. AX squared plus BX plus C equal to 0. AX squared plus BX plus C equal to 0. Now, if you recall, standard form of a polynomial is from greatest to least degree. Remember that? So let's look at this one. Is this the greatest degree? 2, yes, and then 1, and then 0, and then nothing over here, right? So therefore, from greatest to least degree, so yes. From there, we identify A, B, and C. So pretty much we're going to be looking at the coefficients of the first, of the second, and the constant to identify our 3 values. So here, just identify A, B, C. Step 3, write and substitute. And for short, just write QF, underline QF. Quadratic formula. In our last 3 steps, solve, graph, and check. Fairly simple steps. The only thing you need to see the connection before we actually memorize it. And you're going to memorize it as we go. Okay? So what is the quadratic formula? Let's find out. Check this out. Quadratic formula. Write this down right underneath your steps. X equals minus B plus minus square root B squared minus 4AC over 2A. Only that. Copy that, please. So, guys, the quadratic formula we need to memorize because we need this in order to solve quadratic equations using this. And it's X equals minus B plus minus square root B squared minus 4AC over 2A. X equals minus B plus minus square root B squared minus 4AC over 2A. X equals minus B plus minus square root B squared minus 4AC over 2A. X equals minus B plus minus square root B squared minus 4AC over 2A. So by now we got our quadratic formula memorized. So let's go over an example. Here we go. Example 1. Copy this down, please. And I want you to write solve by factoring and using the quadratic formula. Solve by factoring and using the quadratic formula. Solve by factoring and using the quadratic formula. Example 1. So let's call it example Q. How about that? Example Q. And here's the equation. Y equals negative 3x squared minus 9x minus 6. All right. Let's solve this first by factoring. Here we go. Let's go pretty fast since we already know how to do these, right? So step 1, substitute y for 0. So therefore this becomes 0 equals negative 3x squared minus 9x minus 6. Like I said, first we're going to solve it by factoring, which is the one that we've been doing, right? From there, what's GCF? Negative 3. So therefore we open up parentheses. We're left with x squared plus 3x plus 2. Bring down the equal and the 0. From there, we can simplify this one by opening two parentheses. We factor the first term, which is x and x. Get our Power Rangers. We got 2 at the top for our product, 3 at the bottom as our sum. And the factors of 2 that add up to 3 are 1 and 2. So this is x plus 1, x plus 2. You bring down the negative 3, the equal, and the 0. At that point, you write each factor equal to 0. The negative 3 equal to 0, x plus 1 equal to 0, and x plus 2. So I write negative 3 equal to 0, x plus 1 equal to 0, and x plus 2 equal to 0. From there, you notice that this first one is not true, therefore we get rid of that. So we got rid of the friend already. Let's solve the rest. Minus 1 minus 1, we're left with x equals negative 1. Minus 2 minus 2, we get x equals negative 2. And these are known as roots or zeros, and these are our solutions. The solution to the quadratic equation are our roots. Okay, so we got that. Let's graph it. I'm going to graph it down here. Okay, our roots, let's see, negative 1 goes here. Negative 1. The other one is negative 2, which is right here. Negative 2. Is that correct? My y-intercept is negative 6, which is down here. And let's look at the direction. Notice that this leading coefficient has a what? A negative. That tells us that it's going to be an upside down parabola. So therefore, this goes like this. Thank you. And that's our parabola. So once again, did we solve it by factoring? Yes. So we got that down. Next, we're going to solve it, but using the quadratic formula, the QF. So check this out. At this point, I need you guys to put your pens down, and I'm going to go ahead and solve it like that. All right, here we go. Pens down, eyes up here. So I need your full attention. I'm going to go through the entire process. So step 1, it says, set the equation in standard form. Is it in standard form? So let's see, I'm going to write my standard form. ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. So let me look at this. Is it in standard form? Let's see, negative 3x squared minus 9x minus 6. It's not equal to anything over here, so I just write it over here, equal to 0. It's the same thing, right? Okay. Step 2, identify A, B, and C. What is A on this equation? Negative 3. What is B? Negative 9. And what is C? Negative 6. Okay, so we got that. Step 3, write your quadratic formula and substitute. So my quadratic formula is x equals minus b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Okay, so check this out. Do you have to write the formula every time for homework? No, as long as you write it one time at the top of the page, I'm good with that. As long as you have it written so that you have it in front of you and you're using it. However, this next step is very imperative when we substitute. I need you guys to do this. You write the x equals the minus, but instead of the variables, you open parentheses for every variable that you see. Parentheses squared minus 4 parentheses parentheses over 2 and parentheses. Why? Because if you skip this step, whenever you have some negatives on the values, you're going to make mistakes, and I don't want you to make mistakes. So here we go. I'm going to substitute. I'm going to start with A. What is A?
-3.
And that's found next to the 4, next to the 2. So I'm going to write -3 right here, -3 right there. What is B? -9. That goes right here at the beginning, -9, and in here where the square is at. And what is C? -6 goes at the end. And now I can simplify this using order of operations. I can start here inside of the radical, but I'm just going to go one step at a time. So check this out. X equals, what is negative times a negative? So I get rid of the parentheses. I just write +9 plus minus. I'm going to leave the root. So what is square root of, -9 squared? 81. Check this out. Negative times a negative is times a negative. That's a negative. So let's see. 4 times 3 times 6, 72. Over, what is 2 times -3? -6. And I'm still not done. Check this out. X equals 9 plus minus square root. I'm going to simplify this. What is 81 minus 72? 9 over -6. I'm going to simplify this. I'm going this way. Let's see. I got 9 plus minus. What is square root of 9? 3 over -6. At this point, check this out. Since I cannot simplify that anymore, this one, because I have a plus and a minus, this is where I make two equations. Check this out. I'm going to make one positive. So I'm going to write x equals 9 plus what? 3 over 6. And I'm going to make a second one for my what sign? Negative. And it's going to be x equals 9 minus 3 over -6. I forgot the -6 on it. All right, so let me simplify this one. What is 9 plus 3? 12 divided by -6. What is 12 divided by -6? -2. Did we get that on our first one with factoring? Yes, there it is. Let me simplify this one. What is 9 minus 3? 6 divided by -6. What is 6 divided by -6? -1. Did we get that on our first one also? Yes. These are our roots. They're also called 0 since we already graphed it. It's right there. Copy that, please. Okay, let me scoot this a little bit over so you can see it. How about right there? Is that good? Okay. I'm going to go all the way to the top, and then I'll scroll down. There it is. There's the whole thing. Copy that, please. Okay, let me move this up. Here it goes. Up right there. Continue. All right, so let's see from the top. Once again, let's see. Step 1 is our equation in standard form. Yes. Step 2, identify A, B, and C. Step 3, write your quadratic formula and substitute. Step 4, simplify, solve, and graph. Did we do that? Yes. Okay, let's do another one. This next one, we're only going to do with the quadratic formula. Copy this next one, please. The solution, since you already did it with the factoring, you will do it. The homework is you doing it both ways. Here you go. Copy this one down. Example 1. 2x squared plus 7x plus 5 equals 0. 2x squared plus 7x plus 5 equals 0. Okay, yeah, they already did the first step. Is it in standard form?
Yeah.
Yes. Step 2, identify A, B, and C. What is A? 2. What is B? Oh, this is B. And what is C? 5. Okay, so we got that. Step 3, write your quadratic formula and substitute. So we got x equals minus b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So let's substitute. So we get x equals minus parentheses plus minus square root parentheses square minus 4 parentheses parentheses over 2 parentheses. Okay, so let's substitute. What is A? A is 2. That goes here. 2 and 2. What is B? 7. It goes here and here. And what is C? That is 5 goes over here. Okay, let's start simplifying. What is negative times 7? Negative 7 plus minus square root. What is 7 squared? 49. Negative times a positive and a positive, it's still a negative. 4 times 2, that's 8. Times 5, that's 40. Over 2 times 2, that's 4. X equals minus 7 plus minus square root. What is 49 minus 40? 9 over 4. I'm going to go this way. So this is negative 7 plus minus square root of 9, that's 3 over 4. Okay? At that point, can we simplify that anymore? No. So we get our two equations, one for our negative, one for our positive. So I write x equals minus 7 plus 3 over 4. And the other one is x equals minus 7 minus 3 over 4. Okay, let's simplify that. This becomes negative 4 over 4, which becomes what? Negative 1. Look at this one. This is negative 10 over 4, which becomes what? Negative 2.5. What is negative 4 divided by 4? Okay, let's graph this. Okay, what is my first root? Negative 1, which is right here. There it is. What is my other one? Negative 2.5, which is right here. Negative 2.5. What is my y-intercept? 5. No. Yeah, because the leading coefficient is a positive. Piece of cake, right? All you have to do is make sure you substitute correctly and simplify. Okay, homework. Homework is found on page 602, numbers 1, 3, 13, 19, 25 through what? 37 odd. However, I want these solved both ways, by factoring and by using the quadratic formula. Have a good one, guys. Enjoy your homework. See you guys Thursday.